Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, it's the world of Wayne. Happy Tuesday everybody. We've got the next 4 stages of the Fanhome release of Build the Fast and Furious Dodge Charger. So this is encompassing stages 47 to 50, and you know what, I haven't even looked at the magazine, so this is going to be a surprise for me as it is to you as we come across each stage. What I have done is I bored up the rolling chassis that we have been working on throughout. This is where we're up to at the moment. Obviously the engine's in there, and we have got the supercharger details on top and stuff, which I've kept away for the minute because I don't think we need it. I think in the last stages we actually attached some of these electrics here. Don't even know if we're going to be using this today, but I got it out because it's been stored under my workstation under there, and it needed a dust because they didn't have any cloths over it, so that's what I've done. But it's looking pretty impressive, isn't it? So if you want to get this for yourself, I've put the link down in the video description to the Fanhome website, and you can get this all the way from pack 1. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So we're going to start our journey today on stage 47. As you can see, we have got some little platforms here which is used to lift the vehicle up while we're building it, and the frame's not on the vehicle, because what will tend to happen is it's going to try and bow because you haven't got that frame on top pulling it upwards. So when you are storing it, you'll be using those plastic things just underneath the main floor pan, and that will stop that bowing happening. And by the look of it, we've got some electrics to plug in here as well, and it's just telling me where I'm putting all the electrics. So this should be quite a quick stage. So here's everything that we've got here. As I said, these are the little lifters that you can use when you're actually storing the vehicle. That will keep it upright. Actually, when you're working on the vehicle as well, you can put those in. Probably going to need that now, actually. We've got some little wire cable clips. Just put these on to keep the wires tidy. And we have got some CM screws here. And here's all the electrics. So hopefully you can see I have put those little supports in. That's just going to help to stop that bowing. And the first lead we need is called 47C, they're labelling at it. It's got 3 red lights on it, as you can see on the close-up camera there. So I'll get this untangled. Now, if this is cable 47C, I'm just interested in the letter at the end. That's going to go into the control board here. You know what, because the amount of moving around I'm going to do with this, I probably will take the suspension little jacks off. So all of the things on the circuit board here are labelled. So I need to plug this into C, which is this one here. And there we go, that one's in, no problems at all. Now this is where it gets tricky though. 47A, which is the switch, needs to go into the socket for B. and 47B, the headlights, needs to go into socket A. Is that right? That's just crazy. Oh, that's very confusing. Okay, so we're going to do a test now. So what we do is I click on the power switch, and if you're unsure where that is, so I've got my glasses on here. Power switch just on the battery box there. Put that down, and then we're going to do a test. So what we do is we take this switch, which is there. When I turn it on, we should have headlights come on, which as you can see, they're on, no problems at all. We should have these, the dash lights. But there's all the dash lights coming on, that's fine. And then we should have the rear lights come on as well. Then if I push the other switch, which I'm just trying to find here, which is on this green one here, we should get sounds. That's the horn, and there's the engine noise. And then the last switch we've got is the brake switch, which is this sort of like black and green lead. When I push that, the brake lights should come on, as you can see. If the main lights are on, which I'll just turn on here, when I push the brake switch, they should get brighter. So, that was a successful test. Now, they don't want us to tidy any of the wires up now, so we're going to move swiftly on to stage 48. So I've left the car there, and I'm just going to show you the instructions what we're doing. As you can see, we've got a massive floor pan on here, but what we are going to be doing in this one is this is where we are going to be tidying all the wires up before we put that floor pan over the top of these, as you can just see in the instructions there. Actually, there is another page. So by the end of it, it's going to look like that ready to go. It doesn't look like we actually attached the floor pan on this one. So I'm going to turn this round so it's a little bit easier for me to work on here. And you can see this on the close-up as well. And And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking these 2 wires here and passing them through these 2 small screw holes just there. And we're going to need one of the little cable clips that look like that. And we're going to pin these into place just over this section here. So I'll lie that on top. Once I've got one in, it'll be easier to do the other side. I'm not going to put it in all the way. And put the second clip in. There we go. So now that's the first clip in place. These wires continue to go up this trunk here. So we've got another 2 wires. Don't know if you can see it on the top camera there. So we're going to put a clip over that one. Just going to go on top. See, once again, you'll find it easier just to put one in really loose. Get the wires where you want them. And then just spin it around. And put the second one in. That's perfect. And then the brake line here is just going to go into this channel here. Don't worry about it going over the top of this section. That is apparently how it's meant to be. But we have got a clamp just to put on the end there. And you know what? Historically, on all my builds, these cable clips are always a pain to put in. I don't know if it's just me. They're just so fiddly. There we go. So that's the clip in place on both sides. 1, 2 and 3. Now in a similar fashion, all the other leads here, and I mean every single one of them, are going to firstly go into the clip that we can just see here. These are larger clips, these ones. There we go. That's that one in. We've got a further one just there. Look at that, I missed a wire. I bet you're all shouting at me then. I'll get that in on the first one in a second. Because you're pushing down on this section, it makes sense to use these brackets that they gave us. And there you go. So all of these wires now come up here, just go out the side just like that. That was fun. I've just put that on the floor for a second, and now I'm going to get out the floor pan, which is absolutely ginormous. Look at that. And that is what that looks like there. And we do also have this little bag of hooks. And what we want to do is, as you can see, we've got some holes in the floor pan here. So we're going to be putting those hooks into those holes. They're just a push in. So they look like that. 2 more hooks just into this section next to it here. That's 1. And 2. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So this is stage 49 here, and as you can see we're going to be installing the gear lever. So it looks like we've got the surround for that here. We're going to be putting the gear lever in the top, and then we're going to be attaching that to the floor pan there. So at the end of it, it should look like that, and as you can see we've got a gear lever. So this is everything that we've got here. I'll just tip all of this out. You know what, I keep these are great for painting with, you know. I didn't realise that until I started the Orca, but yeah, they are really good. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to take the mount for the gear lever and the gear gate here. They've got lugs at the bottom. It can only go in one way on the top, and it's going to go in just like that. And it's going to be secured from the underside with some of these AP screws. So I'll get them in here. That's the first one. And that's the second. We want to take this gear shaft here, and that's going to go from the underside with the spindle in first, so the ball joint fits in to that little recess there. On the other side of that, I'm going to stop that coming out by putting the end on. Little rubber end this is, so all you've got to do is push this on, holding it from the bottom. So then that's on like that. Bring over the floor pan again, and this is just going to go onto this section here, this way round. So now this can operate in that section just like that. Once again, that's going to be held in with AP screws just from the underside here. That's 1. Some of my hooks are falling out there. Need to be careful of that. I don't know if I should have been gluing those in, but I don't know what way round they need to point, you see. So, and that's 2. So then we're just doing the middle section of the transmission cover there, which is just going to go onto the 2 tabs that you can see at the bottom, just like that. Once again, held in with AP screws. That's the second one. Excellent. So it now looks like that. And then you know what? That's all there is to do in that stage. So the last stage, we're on stage 50 now. We're going to be assembling the fire extinguisher, which looks like that. Quite simply, putting this together, and once again, we're going to attach this to the floor pan. So at the end, it looks just like that. So first thing to do is put the 2 sides of the fire extinguisher together. It's got lugs on each side there. Press them in, and it's going to be held in with the AP screws. I think that's the screw of choice for this pack. 2 of these. Now obviously, you've got screw holes here, but you're never going to see them because this is going to be bolted to the floor pan. So it's quite a nifty little way of doing this. Here's the second one here. We've got a pressure gauge to put in. The pressure gauge is in its own pack there. And that's just going to go into the hole at the top of the fire extinguisher. Like that. Bring over the floor pan again. And we've got the fire extinguisher stand to go in. That's just going to go above the transmission section we just put in, with this side here facing towards the rear of the pan. So it's going to go in just like that. As a matter of fact, there is a locating lug there to help you out with that. On top of that, we're going to put the fire extinguisher with these lugs here. So that's going to go in like that. And then that's all secured in from the underside with an AP or 2 AP screws. Just from there, probably best on the top camera. And that's 2. That's firmly in place, looking good. So the last 2 things we need to do is we've got a couple of brackets to put in, and they're going to go either side of my hooks here. So one this side like that, and then one the other side just like that there. Once again, we need 4 AP screws, 2 for each, to get these into place. So that's both of those in, and as you can see, that is all there is to do in that stage. Let's bring up what I've done so far with the main body of the vehicle. Trust me on this, you definitely want to keep this stored on these parts here, even if you're only using them at the front there, because this front section is quite heavy. You don't want to break that suspension there. But basically this is going to eventually fit just over the top like that, I'm guessing. Haven't got a clue, but I'm guessing just like that. So it's really coming along, isn't it? I do like working with electrics. When we get an electrics episode, it always makes me happy. Done quite a bit in this one. I don't think there was much in each pack, but it did take quite a while. I'm not quite sure why that is. Lots of fiddly things, I think. But once again, if you want to get this yourself, I'll put the link for the Fanhome website in the video description. But I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.